Hey, good Sunday morning, boys and girls in the YouTube world. Well, it's been a week of great turmoil since the turncoats in Albany have, pretty much stuck it to us, firearms owners, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I got a magazine here. I got a lot of old magazines. I've collected old magazines over the years. And what I have here is, I don't even see it all. It's an American Rifleman. This is February 1943, okay? And on the inside, there's a editorial by CBL, and CBL was I believe he was a secretary treasurer. Lister might have been his last name, back in 1943 for the National Rifle Association. Anyway, the editorial is entitled Invasion, and I'll try to read part of it here, and hopefully, my lips won't get in the way. It says, on November 23, 1942, the German-controlled radio at Paris announced that the American commander in North Africa had decreed that all civilians must surrender their firearms within 24 hours or be liable to the death penalty. Whether or not such an order was actually issued, we do not know, but it might logically be expected. Every invader in history has tried to confiscate all arms possessed by citizens of invaded locality. There's nothing the invader fears more than a patriotic citizen with a reliable weapon and the courage to use it. This is equally true of military invasions of territory and political invasions of the people's long-established rights. Here's where it gets interesting, because listen who he gives here, check this out. Back at home again, it has been often said that Big Tim Sullivan pushed through New York's original Sullivan Law because his political domination was being threatened by rival ward workers who were growing too aggressive around the polling places. The gun registration law made possible the legal arming of Sullivan's friends and the disarming of his opponents. Ooh, think so? Mussolini and Hitler used precisely the same tactics to establish their political control of Italy and Germany. The idea of political conqueror is thus the same as that of the military conqueror. To be secure in your conquest, disarm those who may disagree with you. Those who propose firearms registrations admit it will not keep the guns out of the hands of criminals. But, they say, if we can catch a man with an unregistered gun, we will know he is a criminal. The intimate that every reputable citizen will be permitted to keep his guns if he will only register them with the police. But well-documented experience with the working of these laws tells a different story. The criminal keeps his gun. This honest citizen loses his gun. Unfortunately, it is the unusual policeman who views himself as the employee of the citizenry. Instead, he views his job as that of a shepherd watching over a flock of half-sheep, half-wolves in sheep's clothing. He believes that his job calls for external suspicion and for the continual order about his flock, which he views as mostly too dumb to protect itself. Of course, once in a while, protection also connotates protecting the policeman's job by complying with the wishes of the dominant political machine. Here, the invasion of private rights enters the firearms registration picture. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to flip this over to my desktop. And I've got about a minute video here right out of Albany, and I want you to watch it. So you got to bear with me here for a minute so I can try to screw this around here on my laptop, all right? I'm going to go to my desktop. Maybe not. Oh, look at this piece of junk this is. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do here now. Anyway, I wanted to go to the desktop because on Tuesday, January the 13th, I believe it was, in 2013, there was an assembly session. Okay, it was January the 15th, in which two of the legislators were talking. One had a list, one didn't have a list of things, and the other one didn't want the list to get out because he hadn't seen the other list yet, because, it might make some people mad. So what I'm trying to understand here is, I don't know if I can get this to play or not in the background. No. Here.
Something that we received from the Senate, which is
at least this will record and you can listen to it.
In this gun bill. And I don't know that you've seen this, or if you know that these are there or not.
No, but we don't have our own list of rejected proposals
Oh, that Senate rejected, so I don't have anything to show you. Okay.
Nothing to show us.
All right, then I won't address it then if you haven't seen it. I'll leave that one alone. Okay, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. And Mr. Speaker, on the bill.
And by the way, I would recommend not to have that list shared because it really has the capacity to dampen the enthusiasm to compromise.
Well, it sure does when we talk about confiscation of assault weapons. It absolutely has the ability to dampen and compromise. Mr. Speaker, on the bill.
On the
Okay, that was
direction of the country.
that was interesting, wasn't it? They don't want to discuss it. There's an individual right there who said he didn't want this let out that needs to be removed from office. I mean, actually out in public. You know, I just love these cameras and video things nowadays. I like nothing better than catching a politician with his foot up his ass. Back to our article here. The citizen has no more sacred right or duty than the protection of his home and his free man's ballot against invasion by internal and external enemies. There is no moral law, no common law that says he must or should entirely delegate his right and duty to mercenaries. That's an interesting word. I found that out. What is a mercenary? It's somebody you pay to go fight a war for you or you know, protect you. Go beat up the bad guy that's come after you. That pretty much, this guy right here is pretty much calling law enforcement and all these other people mercenaries. And by definition, they are mercenaries. They're, you know, pretty much military, you know, protection for hire. True, the citizen may employ a professional police force as a primary protection against the internal attack and a professional military force as the initial protection against external aggression, but the employment of such professionals neither relieves the citizen of the duty of personally defending his family, his property, and his liberty, nor endows the mercenaries with the right to deprive the citizen of the arms and training required for his defense. The American people need to get firmly into their minds the fact that registration by political authorities of the citizens' arms is an infringement of fundamental law of freedom, the law of self-preservation, which is the God-given privilege of free men, not merely legal privilege, which the framers of the Constitution endeavored to convey. We need to clearly understand that registration with this result possibly of confiscation of privately owned firearms is a prime essential to the successful invasion of our democratic rights, just as it is to the successful invasion of our native soil. It is meaningless to say that no one has such a result in mind when they propose registration of firearms. We are not concerned with present intentions. We are concerned with permanent law. We face the facts of history. The registration of privately owned arms has not been a prerequisite to conquest by foreign or domestic dictators. Whether the dictator's intentions are benign or oppressive is beside the point. Freedom shackled soon starves. Signed CBL. And CBL is C.B. Lister, Secretary-Treasurer of the National Rifle Association in 1943. It has not changed, people, okay? This article in this magazine is what, 70 years old? It hasn't changed. The words haven't changed. You listen to that tape out of Albany where that man says he doesn't want this list of whatever it was Grisanti said that he voted for. Senator Grisanti there came out last week. He was on a radio station and said, well, you know, I think it was better, you know, than the bill that was proposed by Senator Diaz because they wanted to confiscate everything. I'll tell you what, in my personal opinion, I wish the Diaz bill would have went through because it would have got a lot more firearms owners off their asses. I can almost see some firearms owner going now, well, you know, it's not too bad now. They deleted all that stuff because that's what they're planning on you thinking, okay? The dumb flock of sheep. You're too stupid to protect yourself, so you have to hire the mercenaries to do it. A lot of people aren't going to like what I have to say, but you know what? If there's anybody out there that's known me for any length of time, this is how I think all the time. I never think about, well, you know, it ain't too bad if you do this or that. I look at what it's going to do to me 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Now you got President Obama wanting to come in with his crap. I'm looking at retiring this year. I was going to use my small firearms business to help supplement my income when I retire. Now what am I going to do? I sure as hell don't want to go back out and do plumbing and HVAC work. That's what I want to retire from. I like working with firearms. I like shooting. I shot my first gun when I was 5 years old. I cast my first bullet when I was 14. You know, what am I supposed to do? Give up my life because some friggin' politician that has done absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, no damn work at all in his entire life other than suck off the people's taxes? I'm telling you right now, I'm moving out of New York this year. You people in New York, you sportsmen, you better get up off your duffs and you better start voting some of these people out. This is Black Powder Bill Out. You can find me at www.blackpowderbill.com. You can find me on YouTube as Black Powder Bill. You can find me on gunbroker.com as BPBRS. You people know who I am. I'm the president of the New York State Muzzleloaders Association. I'm a director with Scope Shooters Committee on Political Education, and I'm the past president of the Williamson Conservation and Sporting Club. I'm presently a director. I'm a founding trustee and past president of Region 8 North Instructors Association. I'm the past president of the Wayne County Sportsmen's Federation, and I've worked with 4 presidents from the National Trappers Association. So for you people out there to think I'm a clueless idiot because you don't like what I say because it ain't putting a dollar in your damn pocket, I've been doing this shit for free since I was 19 years old. I'm tired of supporting the deadbeats. You zombies better get up off your butts and do something this time. This is Black Powder Bill Out. Y'all have a nice Sunday.